They've only gone and done it. Apple have only come out and stated that they slowed down their iPhones on purpose. What the f? So to give you some background into this news story that came out a day or two before Christmas, an iPhone user noticed a substantial amount of decrease in performance of his iPhone once he installed the most recent Apple software update. So after some research and some benchmarking, it actually transpires that the CPU speed of this person's iPhone was significantly lower with the software update installed than it was without the software update. When confronted, Apple actually did come out and say, yes, we put our hands up. It was us, governor. We are indeed slowing down the CPU speeds of our older iPhones using the software updates. Ever since software update 10.2.1, the iPhone 6 range, both the 6, the 6S, the SE line and the iPhone 7 have been subjected to reduced CPU speeds. Now on the face of it, that looks like a pretty damning confession. Someone called a po-po, get them in jail. But hold the phone. When Apple were confronted, they did actually give a reason as to why they were slowing down older iPhones. The reasons all lie behind the ability of the lithium-ion battery over a certain amount of time to provide the power required for the hardware in the phones. Does that make sense? To explain that, I may need the help of some pen and paper. The first thing to bear in mind is that lithium-ion batteries that the iPhones use and pretty much every other phone out there on the market have a definitive lifespan. They don't go on forever. After 2 to 3 years, these batteries will diminish in the ability to provide power to your phone. The second thing to bear in mind is the maximum requirement of the hardware in your phone, the CPU and the RAM, won't change. So from a brand new iPhone to 2 or 3 years down the line, the maximum energy requested by that phone won't change. It will stay constant. In essence, the phone will be like, hey buddy, I need this amount of juice, and the battery will be like, ain't happening, and it'll fry everything. Most phones come with a backup nowadays that if that ever happens, if the battery is unable to provide the juice required, it'll just shut down. Be like, done, black screen. So to help combat the fact that the lithium-ion batteries can no longer support the energy requirements of the hardware in the older phones, Apple have been introducing through their software updates a means by which the phone's hardware doesn't draw as much power from the battery. In essence, telling the hardware to slow down, not draw as much power from the diminishing battery. The phone will realise that the battery's getting old, that it can't support the hardware, and thus not draw as much energy as it once was able to. A simple solution to this is to simply change the battery. It was found that if you installed a brand new battery into these Apple iPhones, voila, the speed was restored. The phone picked up that it was a brand new battery. The phone would sense that the battery could support the energy requirements of the hardware, and thus there was no speed issues. But Apple weren't clear with this, and here lies the problem. What I think Apple are doing is probably bang on, as long as it's true, of course. But to prevent your phone from frying itself or to have random turn-offs, what they're doing is probably the right thing to do for the consumer. But the fact the consumer was not told about these doings that Apple have thought that they could get away with by slowing down the phones, the fact that the consumer was not given a choice, what are people supposed to think? That Apple are slowing down phones deliberately so that you will go out and buy the latest, greatest iPhone ever to exist, spending your hard-earned cash. And that, I do not agree with.